Soon screen. Whoa. And then we go to massive self-promo channels. Yay.
So cool, this Project Tech Ace person.
No. Actually, I should put a period before you get pinged in 15 different Discords. Someone already do the first redeem, and I don't know who it is.
Let me know when you're live, by the way, so I can ping everybody.
I am live, but I'm doing self-promos.
What?
Too.
You're already live?
Yeah.
Ah!
It's at the starting soon screen, so technically.
Okay, then. Everything is good. Everything is good in this world.
I should probably do capitals on those. There we go. Just in case Twitch is finicky because I had it done before. So promos, and off we go. Just mass spamming these. And yes, people can hear us in the starting soon screen because I don't know how to manage my audio. So.
There are audio sources when you can do specifically, where you can literally add as sources. Like, you know, like adding images and webcam and all that stuff. That way we can selectively have, like, all the audio sources and mute everything else.
Yeah, for sure. I just need to do that one day.
It just takes time to get used to it.
For sure. Muting everything and then only having a certain audio go through. And I feel pinged. Oh yes, because you did ping. Oh my word. Anyway.
Ping pong.
My arm's hurting now.
Raishi redeemed first. Oh,
Wow.
my own husband.
How dare Raishi. What? And I believe we are good to go. Cool. Usually I just
Raishi's
wait a
so
few
cool.
minutes before we start the Q&A.
Yeah. Wah!
Around 10 minutes.
So many cool beans already in chat. Oh my word.
Know.
I
So
see
many
Pat
cool
Raishi and
people.
Gamma. Whoa.
Point.
So cool. Can you make me a Vaporeon? I think you can do that yourself in the stream description. It's called stream
stream
avatars, and you can make it yourself. Yep.
You
And that
change
is a
it to whatever
Vaporeon
you
that I know
want.
of.
Sadly, it does have a limit on how many avatars I could do, but whatever. Hydrate now, I can do that. Don't know why the redeem didn't go off, but
Oh my fucking god. This Hustan guy.
you found it. Nice.
I also have water.
Water. Yep. Double hydrate. Hi Project, how are you? I'm doing terrible. Because it's Saturday.
I mean, I usually just do water simply because it's better.
Yep. I slow down on caffeine quite a bit, mainly because cavities. Teeth don't like it.
Yeah, I got rid of Raishi's bad habit as well because he was like drinking like 2 to 3 a day of these energy drinks. And,
energy drinks.
Yeah, I
holy.
replaced it with monster cans. He was drinking like a rock star. He was drinking like 2 or 3 a day, and I really got. And eventually, I got rid of it for him because he was
Right.
caffeine addicted, and he thought at that time that coffee would give him diarrhea until we
alternate.
figured out it was
Oh,
actually the artificial
okay.
sweeteners.
Right. Makes sense.
Now he mostly drinks tea and water.
Tea and water.
Yeah, and a bit of coffee sometimes.
Hello, Spyro.
Spyro. Mino Hama said
I would
something
be
very
drinking
interesting earlier
tea
today.
more
What did you say this
often,
time?
But I can't have tea anymore either. My body just doesn't like things anymore. Can't drink milk either, for some reason. It just rejects it completely.
No milk? Lactose intolerance or what?
Not even lactose intolerant. I just can't have it. My body will legit reject anything milk related. But if you mix milk with something else, it's fine. Like if I were to have milk with my tea, it would be fine. And it's like, why?
That's interesting.
I know. But I can have vanilla ice cream just fine. And that's like pure milk right there.
Right, she's having a Rockstar today. How? Raishi now drinks Rockstars like once a week instead of like 3 a fucking day.
So torture or
It's gotten
no?
so much better for him.
Once in a while, yeah.
Yeah, once in a while. Project, why you're so cool.
No, I'm not.
Not fair.
I'm just here.
Not fair.
I exist.
So cool. So cool. So cool.
No, you're so cool. No. 6 minutes, so 4 more minutes, and then we can put it on the main screen. Yay.
4 more minutes until the shitlord is here. Oh no.
Oh no. We're counting down till Mars shows up. Oh no.
What about Mark? Mark! I think Mark is currently on his way to Düsseldorf, so he can fly back home.
Yeah.
Because there's an airport, if I remember
I
correctly.
did see it a bit on the Discord on what he's doing. In a foreign area where I don't know anything about the language. Yeah.
Yeah, Hallöchen. We are doing this interview in German now, I heard. My native language.
Let me make Google Translator real
It's
quick.
so German. Why Google Translate? Use DeepL.com. It's much better than
DeepL.com.
Google
Okay,
Translate.
there we go. Well, I
Like
just
when
don't know
I
any
write
good sources.
when I write something like in English at university and I can't figure out how to express it, DeepL.com does it for you.
DeepL.com. Yeah. Perfect. Our problems.
Oh
are
my
forever
word,
solved.
project! Look at this.
Why?
Look at this. Oh my word! Look
Oh
at chat.
my word.
Whoa!
A 3 stream streak? Nah. Get out of here. That's impossible.
I'm your biggest fan.
We got 2 more.
Check gets all the
minutes.
pets. Pets.
Oh my word. Many pets.
You also get pets, project.
What? No.
What?
No.
Tired.
Tired.
No, you
What?
tired. Oh my word.
What? Minute 30 left, and then we
So
get...
cool.
What? No. Impossible.
Oh no.
I am just here existing.
Raishi,
on the
I'm gonna
internet.
do something silly, says Raishi. Whenever he
Impossible.
says that, he's about to subscribe, knowing him.
Let me quickly get the ban ready so you can't do that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, please ban him. That shitlord is not allowed.
Not allowed in my chat. You can't subscribe. New rule. If you subscribe, you're getting banned.
Silliness is your thing, Cecile. Nuh-uh. No, that's me.
Whoever
Yep,
just
look at
got
that.
gifted sub.
Knowing
everyone's gonna
Raishi, he's...
get- Oh my word.
Hype
I should
train
give those to you.
incoming? Hype
Already?
train incoming?
Oh no.
Hold the fucking phone.
Bro, it's playing the funny music.
Oh no.
Oh my word. Stop
Yeah,
getting
you
dumb.
reactivated your Project Takes gift badge. I got Cutie Coma, Lithium, Dreaky, Cedric,
Oh, dude, so many.
and whoever. Justin.
Mystic, Lithium, Aduro, Driki. Wow.
Oh my god, level
Right.
3 hype train, Chad. You know what to do. Break the project.
How?
Break him.
No.
Break him. Break him.
No.
Break him.
You'll
Yes.
not break my spine.
Yes. Break him, Chad. Break him.
Oh.
You know what to do.
How dare you give me money? You're not allowed to do that. Give it to Mino. Instead. Yeah, Mino needs it.
Give it to him. Give it to him. Give it to him.
Why? I didn't even know. I forget what like the max hype train I ever got. So, guess we'll have to figure out sometime. Probably not today.
Highest is what I got was almost level 8. Jules almost
Level
rescued
8,
it.
that's
Almost
insane.
rescued it, but he was just. They would have gotten for more if Jules wouldn't have been late. They would have been level 8 and probably 9 and 10 and stuff like
Wow.
that. The Viking community is crazy whenever something like that happens. If it ever happens, but once it
Yeah.
happens, it is quite hefty.
I bet. So, the 10 minutes.
So cool.
We're at the 10-minute mark now, so. Yippee.
No way. Oh.
You had totally plenty of time to prepare.
It says that the Hype Train channel record is level 9 at 82%, says Justin on your channel.
Cool.
Good
Good thing we won't have that happening anytime soon. Anyway. Would you like me to start with the questions?
Anyway. Of course.
Okay. Well, the first one is, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, Mino?
I mean, a lot of people know me already. I'm Domingo Meng,
Yeah.
or Mino. I'm 30. Coming from Austria. Born in Austria, living in Austria still.
Yo, Austria.
Yeah. I had a very distinct school life with lots of bullying, which was
Yeah.
still very much fun apart from that because I was the darling of every teacher, you know, holding the doors
Right.
open for everybody and talking with everybody. And I remember, for example, like in secondary school, one of my geography teacher actually lost their mom. And
sucks.
the first thing I did is to check on them, whether they are doing okay, giving them a hug, giving them a bit of comfort. I also worked as a librarian for 4 years at my secondary school.
Nice.
Yep. And I also was part of the canteen. The canteen had a lot of people with mental and physical disabilities that needed supervision and all that. Like, for example, like with people with Down syndrome and the likes. And I met a lot of great people there, and
That's awesome. That's awesome.
it was just absolutely fantastic doing that. And I really enjoyed it. It made me really
bet.
sad that when I did my A-levels, then I had to leave because I wanted to
Oh.
be more around them. And it's not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair. How
And
dare life move on?
right afterwards, my life was a little bit turbulent because what was thought back then was depression. I was diagnosed eventually with post-traumatic stress disorder from bullying.
Right.
And that's why my career after that, my academic career, was a little bit chaotic. So I started studying software engineering, stopped it, did my civil service.
Right.
Afterwards, I almost finished physiotherapy studies. Practically, I'm a certified physiotherapist. I just had to do my final exams.
Right.
But I basically did all my internships. I know a lot about when it comes to the human body.
No way.
And then eventually came back to software engineering, and now I'm a software engineer and I'm working on my master's.
Ooh, nice.
In terms of hobbies, they're quite all over the place. Like, I like to tinker around with hardware
Yo.
and code that stuff as well.
That's always fun.
I also am a very avid D&D player and dungeon master. I'm debuting myself as a dungeon master with Raishi together with a complete homebrewed campaign with its own universe soon.
That's gonna
Big Final Fantasy 14 addict. Totally not noticeable.
Totally not.
And I did speedrun a lot back then, from 2014 until like 2021. I held 2 world records in Wario Land 1 glitchless and Wario Land 2 main story glitchless for several years. Improved it quite a few times. What else do? I play the piano. I've been playing the piano for 20 years.
Nice.
Took classes for 8 years. What else do I like to beatbox. Like to sing.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Been beatboxing
Very
for like what? Pretty much over a decade. Like composing music, though I don't necessarily like show anybody.
Fair enough.
Because I'm scared at the reception, performance anxiety, and the likes.
Oh yeah.
I read also a lot in my spare time when I have nothing to do. Mostly like non-fictional books rather than fictional books, because I'm a very curious person by nature. Communication psychology, especially, or like social criticism, political history in general, stuff like that.
Got you.
I have a varied span of hobbies.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Assume that's it for the first question. Yes, sir. Unless you got anything else to add. Yo, Tim. It's all cool.
I don't think I have anything to add except when maybe Raishi knows more about me than I do myself, but we'll see.
Let's see if Raishi's online real quick.
I completely forgot that. Completely forgot the fact that I'm married. For those who don't know, I'm married. I got married in August 17th last year to my beloved husband Raishi. Not legally married as of yet, due to living situations.
Yep.
Most people are already aware of that. I mean, you are also aware of that. But we're marrying illegally, like maybe, probably, most likely in 2 years after my master's is done and moving in together.
Makes sense. So I guess the next question is, how did you become a furry, and why did you choose the dragon species?
So that is a very interesting question, because originally I was already a furry since I can think of, simply because I'm an ambivert, so I'm extroverted and introverted in specific situations.
Yeah.
And due to me being neurodivergent, I wasn't well received by a lot of the kids that were around me, so I was mostly by myself. And given that I didn't really have much connection to people, I always had my imaginary friend with me. I was a very avid Pokemon fan back then.
Yo, Pokemon.
Still am. Don't play it as often now anymore, but I still love Pokemon to no end. And that imaginary friend was my Pikachu plushie that had electric components in there, so it could just speak with you if you just press his little paws.
Aw, that's adorable.
And stuff like that. And I still have him. 25 years after, I still have him. I got it when I was 5 on my birthday. And he always accompanied me. So I was role-playing a Pokemon, a Pokefur, since I was 5. So I was always a furry. But I never really knew about this until way, way later. The moment that I realized I really was a furry was, when you were around on Twitch and, speedrun community and all that stuff. And back in 2015, if I remember correctly. when Undertale came out, I had a huge man crush on Asriel, like the adult version, obviously.
Right.
He was such a sweetheart, and I resonated with him in multiple levels. And back then, it was because I was like, oh, this is so fucking cool. I want to do something like this as well.
Exactly.
But I didn't know how to begin with in the first place, so I just kept it as it was until like around 2019. I met someone by the name of 12 Dog from the Ocarina of Time speedrun community and randomizer community. And he introduced me into a Twitch team called the Storytellers back then, which was later renamed to Dreamweavers, had lots of controversy with one of the leaders and so on regarding pedophilia, stuff like that.
Oh, great.
And but back 12 Doc, or Docky as I refer to him all the time, he dragged me into the group, and the group was full of furries. There I met my ex before Raishi, who eventually dragged me sometimes into VRChat for dates. And I had back in the days, the Nardo. So that's how I really became really a furry, so to say. Classic Nardo.
Yeah.
And I was always fascinated with dragons because, they're usually known to be very smart, very powerful, strong-willed, charismatic, energetic. They like hoarding things like I do, to good and bad.
Hoarding.
Yep, good and bad. My room is not always the cleanest in terms of hoarding. But they seek out wisdom. They have a lot of wisdom. And they bring good luck and so on to other people, and so on and so forth. And I very much resonated with the dragon, with the dragon species back then. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Why not? So eventually, I thought to myself, why not have my own version of a Nardo and mix it together with the adult version of me? Because, this Pikachu plushie was always me, so to say, that I spoke to was always me. And I was like, what if Pikachu in an adult version becomes a Raichu and combine it with Nardo? That's where my real furry fandom came around back in the days, in the end of 2022, when I was still dating Raishi already. And afterwards, last year in 2023, it became the Nova Beast, because I can resonate with how he looks like and the expressions much better than that. So I blame my friend 12 Doc for me for realizing I'm a fucking furry, even though I was always a bloody furry to begin with. But I never really joined anything until like 2020. It was exactly. It was pretty much just a vibe check. So from a loner to now having so many wonderful people around me, including you.
That's awesome. No,
Thanks
I'm
to
not
furry
wonderful.
fandom.
I'm chaotic. Anyway.
No, you are. I am also chaotic. What do you mean, bro? You know me.
I know. Point.
That's my story about how I became a furry and why I chose the dragon species.
Yo, pretty awesome. I don't know if you already answered this one, but you might have kind of got into details. What do you enjoy doing in your free time?
Pretty much what I would at most. The thing that I enjoy absolutely the most is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
When I was younger, despite my language barrier due to ADHD, because back in the days I had really strong trouble with expressing myself thoroughly. Like my grammar and all that stuff and my vocabulary was just fine. It's just I couldn't express myself into a way like this sentence and then this sentence and then this sentence and everything is coherent, I just couldn't properly. But despite the fact that my teachers were very harsh with me to this, I liked storytelling since I was 4. I started
Storytelling.
teaching myself how to read at the age of 3 and 4 because my mom bought
Oh,
me
wow.
a
That's
computer
cool.
to say like A for ape, B for bus, C for clown, and so on and so forth.
Oh, okay.
And had mini games and reading words and all that stuff. And I taught myself how to read through that. And my mom also, because I was so curious, I got a lot of. I was exposed very early to reading. And when I was in kindergarten, I actually liked to just make up fairy tales and stories or
Right.
read from already written books in front of other kids. That actually led to one of my kindergarten aunts to even question my mom because I had so many bruises due to my excess energy that they thought that my mother is drilling me and physically abusing me
Oh boy.
to the point that I was able to read at the age of 4, which was later on debunked because I was so energetic that I just hit myself everywhere due to ADHD. My ADHD not allowing me to have filigrane motor skills. You know,
Mhm.
I was very impaired with that. And when I was older, when I was in my adolescence, I wrote a lot of fan fiction stories, specifically about Pokemon and Kingdom Hearts back in the days, because Kingdom Hearts accompanied me very much when I was in my teenies. And I got across Dungeons and Dragons around 5 years ago because my class in the first semester during my bachelor's studies introduced me into Dungeons and Dragons. Unfortunately, I've been having a lot of bad luck back then, but I started getting across, like reading up a lot of D&D stuff, and it basically gamified my biggest passion from storytelling and writing stories, into Dungeons and
That's
Dragons,
awesome.
and I absolutely adore it. And I'm also trying to expand into things like Pathfinder and all that to see how that
Ooh,
feels, because that's
Pathfinder.
more open source than behind a paywall and all that. So I
Right.
look forward to expanding that.
You money.
Yeah, apart from that, playing video games, Final Fantasy 14, and
Yep.
things that I've
classic.
already mentioned. But D&D is what I spend the most time with,
Oh,
learning
yeah.
new things, looking things up, learning how to become a better DM, how to write how to write the universe, and so on.
Yeah, makes sense. What is your favorite book, movie, or TV show, and why?
I've been thinking about this question for a long time because you've given me the this was pretty much the hardest question for me, simply
Right, it makes
because
sense. Also,
I
how
haven't
hello,
watched
Jacob.
any movies or any shows or anything like on TV since I'm like 15 or something like that.
Fair enough.
Simply because I like knowledge and stuff like that more than just entertainment on that level.
Exactly.
And when it comes to books, one of my favorite books, I don't know how it is called in English, but basically you could say that it's from Max Frisch. It's called the human arrives in the Holocene, which is basically about a man in Switzerland in his 70s who slowly starts to become to get Alzheimer's, and he describes this process in a very deep detail about the fleetingness of life as a whole, and how humans should appreciate everything, and into the descent of in a degenerate illness.
Right.
And I read that as a book in part of my secondary school, and I don't know why I really liked it, but it felt like this is the first book that I really had in my life that really showed the deepness of life itself, rather than just always
Exactly.
fictional stuff and all that. That's where I started to just vibe with it. Other books that I really enjoy are books from Franz Kafka.
Right.
Very very socially critical. I like that a lot.
Oh yeah.
So when it comes to books,
That's
that
been amazing.
when it comes to the social criticism stuff, I really enjoy these things because they make you think more deeper about life.
Yeah. That's
If we
awesome.
could, when it comes to TV shows, if we could count D&D campaigns from YouTube as a TV show,
Ooh.
then definitely it's the D&D show that I'm currently watching with Raishi. It's called Erois by
Erois?
the D&D group High Rollers.
Okay.
I'm currently around 122 episodes in.
That's nice.
Out of like 190.
Oh, there's a
Big
lot
inspiration
more.
to me as well. Oh yeah, that will be. Sounds kind of similar to Flowers of Algernon. Interesting.
Yeah.
I need to look that book up.
Do you have any travel experiences that left a significant impact on you?
Given my family being mostly at home, I didn't get the chance to travel much until I was able to earn my own money as of 2
Right.
years ago. But a travel that left that was a significant experience to me is when I was at the US for the first time to meet Raishi in person and his
Right.
family.
That was definitely
It's definitely a culture difference. It's definitely
yeah.
a big culture difference between European and Americans. That's big differences. I also felt insulted by the fact that Olive Garden is selling their food as Italian, and as a half Italian, I absolutely do find that a disgrace. Things also
Lovely.
like free refills. That shit doesn't exist in Europe. You don't
Oh,
get
yeah,
that.
free
In the
refills.
US, that's a common thing, Or tipping culture. We don't really have much tipping culture here either in Europe. We do tip, but not as generously as in
Right.
the US, simply because we have different, wages, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's much more livable to be a waiter or a cook in Europe than it is in the US.
Oh yeah.
So meeting Raishi and his family was very enlightening because
That's
like
cool.
different circumstances. I grew up in an apartment. Raishi grew up also, but currently lives in a trailer due to life circumstances. And it makes you humble when you see how other people's live and they're actually like still very much happy about it, despite they try to make the best out of the situation, and I very much admire this.
Yeah.
And it definitely
That's
left
nice.
a significant impression on me on how they're just getting over the rounds, making sure they're living the best life ever. Like, I'm practically jealous of it because it's taught me that materialism isn't as important as the interpersonal connection with people and with family and so on. And they make me think really hard because despite the fact that I have a good family to a certain degree, the connection that Raishi and his family has, and the general in California, the people like they're so open and so talkative and so like, oh hi, how are you doing? Oh, what makes you here? Oh, you're from Austria. That's so cool.
That's so cool.
And, like that. Raishi's family is very nice and very gentle, and
that's awesome.
It's, as I say, like that travel when I was staying there for like 2 weeks was absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I very much enjoyed that one. I could go on for hours on what I've seen there, and overall, it was just absolutely amazing.
Taking
beautiful views on the north of California, because we went to Nevada for a few days. Because they have a secondary trailer that they're renting there for like relaxing purposes and the like.
Nice.
And it felt like I was being at home there because mountain air, everything felt fresh.
Oh yeah.
And it was just so amazing. I still very much remember how cold it was and how we only were relying on the heater and me cuddling Reishi for hours on end just to stay warm. It was so romantic and so nice. And
That
his
must have
mom
been.
invited us to specific things. We saw Emerald Lake. I saw Carson City. I was even in the casino there. Stuff like we watched Doctor Who together. I never not
Nice.
wasn't into science fiction, but that show was absolutely enjoyable to watch back then with them.
Right. I
I will
bet.
never forget that. I will absolutely never forget that. If I can mention a second one that left a significant impression is when it was basically the funeral of my best friend.
Right.
I had to travel to the west of Switzerland because that friend that I met online, and we saw each other pretty much every half a year. We were traveling back and forth. Once it was me, once it was him. Then we swapped because otherwise
Right.
we would always see. I would always see him in winter, and he would have always seen me in summer. So we swapped seasons every year as well. So it was like
Makes sense.
him, me, then me again, and then him again. So it just swaps basically. But it's taught me the fleetingness of life as well, apart from the
Oh,
book that
yeah.
I mentioned, because never in my life have I ever thought that I would lose someone so close to me.
I bet.
It just a split second, because it was very foggy for him, and he got hit by a car that was coming in a T section. Like he was driving
Oh,
driving straight. The car didn't see him in that
lovely.
fog, turn around. He did not anticipate anything. Hit the car, somersaulted over the car, landed on his head,
Wow.
broke his neck, and instantaneously died.
Yeah.
And when you just see, like, that when you're in the funeral and you see like your best friend just laying there so peacefully, it
Yeah.
definitely makes you think differently about life.
For sure.
Enjoy your every day as they come to its fullest.
Yeah.
It's something where I traveled that I will absolutely never forget.
Nice. Ooh. There we go.
Project is thinking. Needs more
I'm just
RAM to
moving stuff.
He needs more RAM.
What has
to
been
think.
told in
Oh,
life?
no.
I have to think this over. 5 check. Anyway.
I cannot grab this mug of coffee. This is not fair. Guess I drink like this then.
Right. So, what kind of music do you like, and do you have any favorite song or artist?
As a musician myself, it comes to surprise. I pretty much like every genre except like hip hop and rap, unless it's like melodic.
Right.
Simply because I appreciate the melody and the music, apart from the lyrics, obviously.
Right.
I don't like this kind of rap stuff where it becomes very vulgar and very insulting. Like when it's socially criticism about rap, that's actually really enjoyable because I'm like, damn, I'm vibing with this. This makes so much sense. But a lot of rap nowadays that is also very popular is just about insulting someone, and I'm like, I don't really enjoy that much. Do I have a favorite artist? Honestly, or a favorite song or anything? I actually do not. Given I have such a wide variety of music that I enjoy, it is hard to pinpoint a song that I very, very, very much vibe with.
Right.
Like, it spans literally from music from the 1930s up until now. Send Your Regrets to the Czar, which is such an old song. That's a song, I think, from the 1920s. I love that song. I like Frank Sinatra stuff, I like Bon Jovi. When it comes to modern music, though, I don't really enjoy much of it. Simply because, especially in pop culture, because every song feels so soulless and unmelodic in
Right.
comparison to what we had in music 20, 30 years ago.
Exactly.
That's why I like to rather listen to older songs than new ones. But don't get me wrong, there are good songs that still exist nowadays, but they are more of a rarity than anything. Back in the days, you had hit tracks literally like every few months, or even almost every month. You mean just think about Queen, Bee Gees, Beatles as very popular examples. These people just threw out one song after another, and it was just one hit after another. Nowadays, artists mostly have just like one track that makes it to the charts, and that's it. It rarely comes
Right.
to the point where there's like very famous singers that stay on the charts,
Exactly. Yeah.
But I do enjoy myself a lot of music. Like
That's
really,
awesome.
I don't really have a favorite artist or anything. If you would have asked me like 10 years ago, I would have definitely said Skrillex because I was a big person into dubstep.
Right.
But
Fair enough.
nowadays,
It's just whatever goes.
there's so many people I can vibe with.
Oh, yeah.
Skrillex, Nero, Flex Pavillon. Back in the days, they were all big back in the days when it comes to
Oh yeah. Must have been
dubstep.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think you kind of shared a bit of this as well. Can you share a memorable life lesson or piece of advice you've learned?
Yeah, pretty much what I've already mentioned with the death of my best
Right.
friend. The fleetingness of life, and it's taught me to be much more appreciative and work more towards becoming a good person than anything.
Oh yeah.
Because being destructive and negative and mean to people doesn't really do much and doesn't even leave a lasting impression.
No, it doesn't.
And knowing how fleeting life is, it is better to start now than tomorrow because you never know when it's too late. You don't want to be memorized as someone who was unbearable as a person.
Exactly.
So definitely that.
When did you get started with streaming, and what was your first motivation towards your adventure into content creation?
I guess we have to do a little time travel there. It was 2012 back then.
Right.
We have spoken about my speech, my language barrier, this impairment. Apart, obviously, from German, my native language had also obviously impaired English.
Right.
And I wanted to become better at this because I was upset with the fact that I was so bad at it. But I didn't really do much until I was 18, where when I was 17. Was it 17? I don't remember anymore. It was 17 or 18. I was very big into Minecraft back in the days. I'm one of the Minecraft OGs who played even in the earliest alpha stages. And I watched a lot of Minecraft Let's Plays back in the days from a German Let's Player, and wanted to expand my language in English as well to improve it. And came across the famous European UK group called the Yoxcast.
Right. Yeah.
Back then with Simon and Lewis, hence why shitlords, that's actually where it comes from.
Great.
Because whenever they ended their stuff or when they wanted to make a joke, there was someone by the name of Simon, who was the clown and the funny guy in the group, who always said, "See you later, shitlords." And I took that over basically.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Due to the Minecraft Let's Plays, it was my 20th birthday.
Right.
I was watching someone who was collaborating with the German Let's Player for Minecraft that I was watching,
Right.
and he was streaming on Twitch. He played Pixel Boy and the Everlasting Dungeon, which is now an abandonware. Back then, it was like an indie game, more like a dungeon crawler game, and he started raiding into someone by the name of Fire Dragon, or back then Fire Dragon 764, who was actually speedrunning Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon
fun.
Snap, Mario Kart 64, these kind of games. And I was so fascinated by the game of Mario Kart 64 and Super Mario Sunshine
Right.
that I started streaming back in 2014. And
2014.
pretty much have
Nice.
stayed. Yeah, and I've been pretty much streaming ever since.
That's awesome.
If you wonder, like, oh, this Minu guy, why is this no partner after 10 years? I don't care about partner. I don't care how many people
who
I have.
cares?
Nowadays, I average like 20-ish people now. But a good thing is they watch whatever I do. And I rather much
Yeah.
enjoy the people who come for me rather than just for the games that I play. Like,
Agreed.
I don't want to feel like I'm just a TV show. I'm just someone who's like streaming a game, chatting with everybody, and just give everybody a good time. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the
Yeah.
growth. All I care about is that everybody is having a good time
Yeah.
to the best of my ability.
That's always the nice thing.
And that's why I really enjoy content creation. I mean, content creation is such a collective term, you know, like you're a community leader, you're a
Yeah.
moderator, you're a video editor, you're an entertainer, you're a comedian, you're an innovator, you're more than just content creator. You're basically pick up so many skills all at once just
Oh, yeah.
to give everybody a good time. And that's why I usually do not use content creator, even though it's the correct
Yeah.
term. It's just like there's so many skills behind this that a lot of people don't even know about or
Yeah.
care about. That I'm like, content creation is business for many,
it kind of is.
and it makes sense, you know. And people have different motivations. But people don't need to underestimate how much bloody work it is. This is like, if you really want to make it big in content creation, regardless what it is,
Yeah.
you gotta be innovative. You know, you
Exactly.
need to create new things. You gotta be innovative. You need to be exceptional with your personality to really make it nowadays anymore. You need to
Yeah.
be someone, and you need to be someone that is worth watching for. People that come back over and over again. And you know, you have to network and all that shit. Like, you need to do a lot of shit.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of that.
It's content creation taught me a lot of things. Taught me a lot of skills that I never thought I would ever have in my life.
Exactly.
So, but it's an enjoyable journey nonetheless.
Getting that experience is also important. For sure.
Absolutely. I mentioned it in my CV, and they were actually fascinated by it because I have a variety of skills that shows to them, oh, this guy can learn a lot of things. He picked up a lot of new things. Maybe we can use this for in the future.
Right? That's always good.
Show soft skills, things that they look for in CVs nowadays.
Oh, I bet. What are your proudest achievements or moments in life so far?
Achievements? Yeah, my world records in Violent 1 and 2 glitchless. Obviously, great achievements in my life.
Amazing.
Obviously, like, when I got my bachelor's in my hand, I was at the brink of crying at the graduation ceremony because I thought to myself, I went through so much shit in life, and some professors even said I couldn't even make it far in life, and I basically fought against all odds, and I was so proud that I finally
Yeah.
had that in my life because I could literally just show, look at this. I am not stupid. I am not weak. I am not slow. I am who I am, and this is who I am.
Exactly.
Are there any big achievements? Like, thing is, I'm still 30. I have
Mhm.
hopefully many years in front of me, and I have a lot of plans and a lot of goals in the future. But
Right.
the thing is, like, I take my time with this. I want these achievements and these goals
Yeah.
to have lasting impressions on me, rather than just like, oh, I'm successful, now I achieved this, now I want to go for greater, then I want to go for greater, I want to go for greater.
Exactly.
I don't want to fall into this spiral of achievement and success addiction like you see so much nowadays.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I just want to take my time and enjoy these achievements and just be happy with them.
Agreed.
So I would say, like, I'm 30, I'm young, I have a lot of years in front of me, and I'm sure
Yeah.
I will eventually achieve them as they come.
Yeah. That's good. Mm. What are your future plans for a job career?
So yeah, currently I work as a firmware and DevOps engineer.
Yep.
From full-time now to part-time because I'm studying for my master's. But
Got it.
I would like to get into university teaching.
University.
I have been a
teaching.
tutor at my university since I am at university again.
Right.
And I have managed to, like, if for us in university for software engineering,
Yeah.
around the third until like half the class fails their first attempt when it comes to programming.
Right.
Because like, acquiring that specific way of thinking takes a lot of time.
I bet.
And I was a tutor there, and one of my professors now is someone who I tutored back then, and she failed, and she basically improved from an F to an A after
Yeah.
like a month of
Okay.
time of tutoring. And I also, like, with Reishi, I wanted to learn also like game design, programming, and maybe the things that I do. And I thought, and other people at university thought to myself, like, you're really good at teaching. So I was like, might be a future goal for me in terms of my job, being
Right.
a part-time professor and a part-time firmware and DevOps engineer at the company I'm
That'd
still
definitely
working
be cool. Yeah.
at. Very much enjoy this. It's a big passion of mine doing these things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I might eventually swap over from the software for the firmware engineering department into the innovation department, simply because I like innovating and I like watching what the market wants or needs and become innovative. I like to be creative.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, like, instead of like just like the firmware engineering part, I was like, maybe I will keep that part, but I go into the creative part of the company because I'm like, I really want to, grow a bit more as a person and show my skills as they are.
Right.
So
That makes sense.
maybe like part-time professor, part-time in the innovation team, still creating things, but still programming,
That's awesome.
but it's more innovation based. Yeah.
That's all you off for that one. Nice. Now, I believe you went into detail a bit about this too. Do you have any interesting or unique talents or skills you would like to share?
Yeah, as I already mentioned, the teaching skills.
Yeah,
obviously.
teaching skills.
I would really like to put that more into practice because schools need good professors, and a lot of them are absolute garbage.
I bet.
when obviously storytelling, as I already mentioned. I would also say that I have quite the exceptional skill when it comes to software engineering because I know a lot of people who are software engineers work there, and even people who want to learn and all that stuff. But what I notice is that they suck at a few things: A, clean code; B, a proper documentation.
Right.
It's a pain in the ass to read through so many people's codes with such cryptic functions or variables, and you're like, what do you bloody mean? Where is the documentation for this?
Right.
Why do you not write anything proper so other people can understand? And the thing is, you do so much at your job. Who's to say that you even remember what the hell you did a month ago at that code? It will take time for you to understand what you've done as well. And it happens so often, but I just ignore that because everything has to be so fast-paced. And given I am so fast with my thinking and also very precise, I can allow myself to be exceptionally good at what I do with my job. Something that is also that people have told me is that I'm able to really, basically understand very complex things and summarize them in very easy terms for people to understand, even for those who have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
So communication skills is obviously something that I pride myself in. I mean, you also know it from, Seahawk in terms of the moderation team and all that. What other unique traits, I don't strive to be unique. I strive to be myself.
Right.
Whether that's unique or not is irrelevant to me.
Right.
People have said I have a really good singing voice, even though I don't agree with it. My voice is more average than anything. At least I can sing and hit the notes, but the thing is, my technique is not particularly good.
Technique? Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah. My mom was a singer. She was a professional singer.
Yeah.
So I inherited musicality a bit from her. I don't know, I think Raichi is more able to speak about this than me, simply because I don't like to boast about my abilities. I don't want to come over as arrogant, people like to say oh, this guy talks about his skills, and then people get jealous and start saying, oh, this guy is so arrogant. I'd rather prefer to
acknowledge you in a second
than just saying oh, I got this, I got that, I got that, I got that. I think the best way to understand my skills is just by getting to know me and spending time with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes not even I'm aware of them. I'm a very quick learner, though. Something that I pride myself in. I don't study at university. I am there, I'm listening, I ask questions, I memorize everything, and that's it. I don't need to study.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I pick things up very quickly, regardless what it is.
Yeah.
Even the things that I'm not necessarily good at, I can spend dedicated time to it and eventually start to become really good at this. My community knows that very well.
That's awesome. Also, before I get carried away, since there's a few things going on, Coco, thanks for the follow, and then hello, caller. Long time no see. Yep, nice to see you as well. Coming in. Any questions that anyone else has, we will wait till that end of the stream, of course, and then we'll ask the chat questions, essentially.
Wow. So cool.
So cool.
I am so bloody nervous about this interview. Like, my hands are constantly soaked. I've never been in an interview. Nobody ever asked me about these things. Nobody was ever interested in me in such a fashion. And it was like, I understand now how people with newspapers feel because it's even worse because everyone reads the newspaper. So like, oh my god, how do you guys even do this?
Uh, How do you handle challenges or setbacks in life?
I have a unique approach to this. I'm a very curious person as a whole. So for me, failure or setbacks for me are not is not failure.
Right.
It is part of success. It is a way for me to learn and understand what went wrong, what can I do better next time.
Yeah.
Regardless what it is. You know, for example, if I messed up something with a person and I messed up big time and it's done for good, yes, it will sting, but it's also understandable that they did this. But at the same time, instead of dwelling on that mistake, I try to understand why I acted the way I acted,
Right.
and then try to improve upon it. You know,
Makes sense.
when it's at work, I didn't meet the deadline. So what? What went wrong? Was it even my fault? Was it someone else's fault? Why?
Right.
What, because I was waiting for someone else for too long? Or a personal project, things don't work out, can't figure shit out. I don't really care. I start to ask people who have the knowledge. And whatever it is, for me setbacks are challenges. And I love taking up on challenges because without them, I'm bored.
Right.
So my curiosity and me striving for not being bored helps me a lot to just go for it without any stress. I just like very difficult things as a whole. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It's a question where it's like it's a mental attitude. It's
definitely.
it's changeable. It's changeable because back then I was not very fond of setbacks or challenges simply because I already was struggling enough as is with ADHD. But now,
Right.
when you grow older and you learn yourself a bit better, you have a different view in life. So, I think it's best to, personally, I think the way how I see it is the correct way. Simply because it doesn't add stress to it. It just rather enriches your life because you're not just shying away from these things.
Right.
You're growing by tackling things instead of just
Exactly.
shying away. Otherwise, you will just be stuck as a person as a whole.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But that's my opinion.
Yeah. Makes sense. Whoa.
Whoa, so cool.
Are there any goals or dreams you are currently working towards? Yo.
Yeah. The very obvious one is literally marrying my husband legally
Yep.
and moving in together with me in 2 years' time. Obviously,
That'd be
that's
awesome.
my dream goal. Obviously, launching my homebrew campaign with Raishi.
Nice.
It's a big goal that I'm looking forward to because it will be my first time ever doing a homebrew campaign with a lot of friends.
Very cool.
Obviously also, getting my master's,
That'd be awesome.
being a professor, maybe swap over to the innovation part as I already mentioned. I definitely also want to work towards having my own home instead of being a tenant for the rest of my life.
Definitely.
Simply
Yeah.
because I think that's the best way, especially when you're like in a minority in terms of sexuality. You do want to protect yourself as much as you can.
Oh yeah.
I also I wanted to originally pick up Kung Fu because I really liked that martial art.
Yo.
And I had to stop because it was so far away from me, and I need the car for this.
Right.
And I don't have a driver's license yet, but I aim towards having the driver's license once my master's is done.
Right.
For
Makes
those
sense.
who are wondering over there, behind the screen,
Behind the
why does
screen.
Mino not have a driver's license?
How dare you?
He's 30 years old. Europe, especially Switzerland and Austria, have a phenomenal public infrastructure. We can get anywhere and anywhere with public transport. We can drive anywhere we want with our bike. We have specific bike lanes on the street. You can get anywhere you want with public transport or your own bike. Unfortunately, with the Kung Fu place, that one is on the very opposite side of the village next to me, and they have a bus stop nearby, but the problem is when we ever stop, I would have to wait for over 30 minutes at the bus stop because after 8 p.m. they come hourly instead of every 30 minutes.
Oh, fine.
And I don't want to wait, for example, in winter in the cold, when I'm sweating and all that stuff still, even after a shower and all that shit. I don't want to get sick, you know?
Yeah,
and I don't want to
exactly.
freeze for like 30, 40 minutes in the cold out there when it's winter. But once I have a driver's license, my dream also is to pick up Kung Fu and become a black belt in that.
Yo, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. I look very much forward to this.
Yes.
Long-term goals, though, I don't know. I don't know where I will stand in 5
Just
years
can't
or
be
in
there.
10 years. Like,
Yeah.
you know that bloody dumb question where it's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, I remember those.
Dude, I don't even know what I'm
interviews.
eating tomorrow. Why are you asking me the question, bro?
Right? Where do you see yourself in 50
It
years?
is such a dumb question. I hate this question so much.
You might as well just call yourself the CEO. Just wait. I can already see it.
You can also just say, hold on, let me, and then just, bring a crystal ball next time with you, place it on the table,
There
and
we
say,
go.
like,
Yes.
oh, let me just see my future in 5 years. What is that? I'm gay? What the hell? No.
Puts it on the thing. There we go.
I know my short-term goals. I know the things that I want to do. When it comes to long-term goals, like 5 years later, 10 years later, or 20 years later, I don't really know. I don't because life is so varied. It's so hard to see
I don't know.
into the future.
Working the rest
Let's
of my
hope
life.
so.
I don't know.
Personally, I wouldn't even care if I had to work for the rest of my life, simply because I am very passionate about software engineering, being innovative, and all that stuff, and teaching. So I don't really care if I teach for the rest of my life or work for the rest of my life in that, because it's my passion.
Right.
You know, it's just a lot of people
Makes
say
sense.
they don't want to. Me personally, don't care. I don't mind it.
Yeah. It's like the saying, like, as long as you enjoy the job, kind of thing.
That's a saying that I learned. It's not my main slogan in life.
Yeah.
But
Definitely
I very
not
much
for me
remember
either,
this
but
when
it's
I
one
was
of those
working
things.
in the senior home. Yeah, but there was a saying that someone told me. She was 93 years old in the senior home. Not all due to Alzheimer's or something. She was just physically handicapped enough to not be able to live on herself anymore, and she had nobody really to take care of her pretty much every day. So she was in the senior home, and she was a survivor of the Second World War, and speaking of Nazi times and so on.
Oh, lovely.
And she said one thing that she can tell everybody up until today is age is just a number. You're only old when you lost your will to live.
Right.
So as long as I like the things that I'm doing, I will never feel old about it. And I don't care if I'm 70 and just teaching at university. As long as I'm passionate about this and full of energy because of it, then who really cares whether I'm working at 70 or not?
Exactly. That makes more sense too. This might be an interesting question for you. What is your philosophy on life, or do you have any guiding principles?
My philosophy in life. I mean, I'm a religious person, but I'm not gonna dive into detail with this because it's more of a
Lord.
private, personal thing.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's
All right,
it's
game
more
theory
of a more
time.
private and personal thing. You know, my husband and me are both religious, but it's a thing that's for us. You know,
Yeah.
how we view life. But apart from that, my philosophy in life is obviously learn from the past. Absolutely, always and ever learn from the past, because a lot of people say like, "Oh, these boomers and all this stuff, shit doesn't work anymore how it was used today." Still try to learn, because back in the days it worked. Why does it not work anymore the way it should anymore the way it did back then? What was different? Or stuff like political history or generally geopolitics. Get interested in this, because that way you can understand what's happening around you instead of being always ignorant about it. Because life is politics. Your life is at the hands of the people that you elected in a democracy. So you should be aware of what's happening and what has happened in the past to recognize patterns or recurring things, because things that happened 100 or 150 years ago can happen again, and nobody ever, or barely anyone recognizes it anymore, because nobody really is interested in this kind of history.
Yeah.
And of course, history will repeat itself because of that, because people remain ignorant to what's happening around them in life.
Yeah.
That doesn't always have to be always political. That also has to be on a personal level. Because as a person, you miss so many opportunities in life, whether it's friendships, relationships, job opportunities, whatsoever. Because people just also always are so egocentric. My philosophy is always like, be a good person and be aware of the things that happen around you. Try to stay vigilant. Try to be kind as the best you can, because your time is limited. You're not forever young. And then has taught me, even when you're 19, you can just suddenly die. You would have had a whole life in front of you, but it could just end. And
that's true.
As long as you're here, try to make the best out of it. Try to live life without regrets. And try to be kind and try to understand other people. Because not everyone who appears as vicious is inherently vicious and evil.
Yeah.
Sometimes they act the way because of their past. We are just judging a moment in time rather than understanding the story that's behind them.
Right.
You know, people need to learn to be deeper thinking as people, and to acquire knowledge that they mean in order to get through life more easily without major repercussions. That's my philosophy in life, and it's something that carries me even up until today. And the thing is, people need to learn also to get out of this black and white thinking. Life isn't black and white.
Right.
It is. Every person has a unique story that cannot be categorized into black and white.
Exactly.
Of course, some things can. Obviously, that goes without question.
True.
But a lot of the things that we see nowadays is being pushed into a black and white scheme of thinking. And I don't like this, because
me neither.
It's very bad, because it polarizes people and it makes them aggressive rather than more knowledgeable.
Yeah, that's true.
People need to learn to think for themselves, not what other people think.
Yeah. We got 3 more. Yippee!
Ain't no way.
No way.
No.
Can you describe a time when you stepped out of your comfort zone and what you learned from it?
That's actually a very difficult question because my entire life was stepping out of a comfort zone.
Right.
You know, like, I think a very defining time was when I figured out my sexuality.
Right.
Because growing up in a very religiously fanatic family, it was a very uncomfortable time for me. Because I
Yeah.
was, because I was like, yeah, I'm not straight. I'm more gay. Am I bi? Am I gay? Till I figured out more that I am bi, but I am pretty much like 90% gay at this point.
Right.
And demi-sex as well, it was really uncomfortable for me, because I was like, you live under your parents' house, and you're like, how do you deal with this? How do you try to keep it secret? How do you even manage to have a relationship like this, trying to keep it a secret and so on? And
Yeah.
how will I ever make it to tell my parents that I am mostly gay? And
Yeah.
and meeting Raishi for the first time, like stuff like that, or visiting US with Raishi. Like, Raishi has pushed me out of my
Must have been
comfort zone a
exciting.
lot of times. It is exciting, but also very anxiety-inducing.
What about was that like your first time going to like an airport and traveling, or have you done that
Yes,
before?
it was my first time.
Oh,
Though
that
I was
experience
not very
is always
uncomfortable.
crazy.
It was actually that experience. I was so fascinating. Like, it was like an 11-hour flight, from here to the US.
Oh, I bet.
We had these screens in front of us.
Oh,
I was mostly
yes.
always looking out of the window because I always wanted to see the world from on top. And I was like, our world is so bloody beautiful. I love this. I even saw like Norway. I even saw like, you can even see Greenland.
That's
and
awesome.
the small cities during the darker times, or like, I even could see like Canada's ice wasteland. I was like,
Lovely.
what the fuck is this? Until I thought to myself, wait, that's gonna be the north of Canada.
Right.
Raishi has pushed me. Raishi has pushed me very commonly out of my comfort zone, but I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did, because I wouldn't be
having
who
these
I am without him
too.
now.
Yeah.
Well, he also allowed me to be more myself and also be more outgoing.
Right.
And more be myself, be more chaotic, be more energetic, instead of this timid person, who doesn't know who he is. Raishi was the defining factor who literally made me who I am, or allowed me to be who I am.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's what love does.
For sure.
Allowed me and encouraged me and gave me advice whenever needed. And I followed suit ever since. But yeah, the entire sexuality thing in the relationship with Raishi was definitely the most defining thing. What did I learn from it? If there's anything that I learned from it, getting out of your comfort zone is not always easy. It takes time, and you definitely shouldn't rush it.
No.
When it comes to something like, I have to hide who I am, try to find people around you where you can be yourself. As difficult and as weird as it sounds, try to deliberately push yourself into that uncomfortable zone, because you cannot get accustomed or cannot get used to these new things if you just always run away from these things. So try to find people around you can trust. And life is about taking risks. So sometimes just go for it. The beauty in life is to tackle things that are uncertain.
Yeah.
Who knows whether it's turning out well or not well? But you will never know unless you try. So that uncomfortableness can only be tackled, and it's a gamble when you enter this gamble. You know,
Agreed.
you gotta
Yeah,
try. You gotta
yeah.
try. You will never know unless you try. Is what many
Is the
people
term,
say.
yeah.
And it's true. It
That is very true.
Certainly something that I had to learn for a while.
Oh yeah. Now, I guess we can move on to the next one. Who has been the most influential person in your life and why?
I obviously will not mention my husband. Totally not.
I was
Totally
I was
not.
about to say. Looks the one at chat.
Yes, Raishi is obviously
Hello,
the
Chunky.
most influential person
you
in my
doing?
life. In a positive sense, you know, like he doesn't try to manipulate me or twist
No,
me.
Chunky.
He's just a very amazing conversation partner to
Right.
brainstorm things. And he's also the kind of person who sees it like me, you know, like try to see the individual things, try to understand the situation instead of start immediately judging and so on. Like we share
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty much the same life philosophies as I've mentioned before. And thus it makes him a very good conversation partner and a very enjoyable partner to be around with. And thus he is becoming also very influential to me because
Right.
I know that whenever I'm able to talk with him, always something great comes out. Not always immediately, which makes
Right.
sense because some things are more
Does make
complex.
sense.
But Raishi has never ever disappointed me in these times.
Mhm.
And
That's awesome.
I am always thankful to have a great partner like him because it's
Oh yeah.
he allowed, as I said, he allowed me to be who I am. He said like, go try to talk. What you want me to do this? You want me to do this with you, and so on. And like, he helped me a lot.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah.
Allowed me to accept my sexuality. He was the one who allowed me to. After 8 years, 9 years of fighting against it,
Right.
and he allowed me to. He allows me to also thrive in the hobbies that I always wanted to try out. And it's just like there can be no more of an influential person than him. Obviously, yes. I mean, family, you know, your own mother and all that stuff. But apart from them, you know, like my husband is and always will be my idol, so to say, my
Right.
most influential person.
That's awesome. I believe that's all you have for that one. Nice. Cool. Well, we're
Mhm.
down to our last question before we go to the chat. Do you have any favorite quotes or sayings that resonate with you?
Yep. Actually, it comes from Final Fantasy XIV,
Final Fantasy.
and it basically summarizes my life philosophy in a way. Knowledge seeks no man.
Right.
You have not every knowledge is wisdom. So what that means is that you have to strive for wisdom, for knowledge, and thus acquire wisdom. But not everything that is knowledge is wisdom. So you have to, you know, spend the time with this knowledge to understand and try to put it into practice. And as a person who likes reading a lot and understanding a lot, who's curious, likes to experiment things around, this is what resonates with me the most.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Use that knowledge for good things to influence those around you in a positive way.
That's always good.
That is something that I live by.
Nice.
It's also the reason why I have a tattoo on
Tattoo.
here. I want to get it in person as well. Yeah.
Yo,
Hold on.
tattoos.
Here. Right here.
Oh,
This is
I'll
the
have to zoom
Final
in on
Fantasy
that one.
So Final Fantasy
There we
14
go.
has its own letter, like the
Right.
Eosian alphabet, and this basically just says knowledge seeks no man. It's like a weird, this like flipped and mirrored
Right.
and all that, these letters, but I figured it out. I was like, wait, this is just English, but just flipped and mirrored and all that.
Oh yeah, I
But
kind of see
that
a bit.
is something that is
Yeah.
something that I go by. I love that quote so much.
I bet. Alrighty. I believe we're now on to the chat if has any questions, so I'll just pin that. Any
Chad,
questions now? You may
what question do you have for me?
ask them.
I am able to
And
answer
now
any and every
pin that.
question.
Sure, for 20 minutes. Why not? Yes.
Why not?
But before this ends, I do need a... Well, if it's fine by you, it's going to be planned to be posted on YouTube as well, so it just stays there, rather than disappears into the VODs.
No, I am more than happy
Sure.
with this.
Okay. Camera right there, and then do whatever pose, I guess. I don't know. For the cool and epic camera.
Yeah, you're an epic gamer. What do you mean?
No.
Yaha.
Oh, as we're facing the camera. Essentially. Yes.
Hello.
Hello. We'll do 5 seconds. Perfect. Alrighty.
Nice.
Now we can see if there's any... What? No questions yet? Oh my word. How dare.
What? No questions? Wow. I drove everyone away. It's so Jover. Why flannel? Says Raishi.
Oh, there we go. That should motivate the chat. Questions now are banned.
Questions now or banned? Wow.
2 options, folks.
Raishi asked the question.
Yes.
Why flannel? When I was in the US, I wanted to go a bit of clothing shopping with Raichi, and I saw this red flannel that looked very nice, and I was like, I never had flannel in my life before, and I just want to see how it looks like. So I put it on, tried it on, and Raichi was like, it looks so great on you, oh my god, it looks so good, it looks amazing,
Right.
and I bought it, and when I was going asset shopping for the Noma piece, I saw a red flannel shirt that can be a crop top, gone with the sleeves, you know. And I was
Amazing.
like, why the hell not? Why purple though? Because I have a purple flannel that was literally sitting like when I added the acid, I literally had the
Right.
same flannel that I bought in purple behind me, sitting on the chair that I was sitting on, and I was like, what color should I use? What should I use? What should I use? Looked around, and I was like, yeah, we're going with purple. That sounds like a fantastic idea. And ever since, I've been using the purple. So you could say this purple flannel is basically a representation of my connection to Raishi when I visited the US and him for the first time.
Right. I believe Spyro also has a question. Talk through a lot of goals and plans. Any specific New Year's resolutions for this year?
Yeah, it's called 1,920 times 1080, 800 by 6. Not just kidding.
Math, I don't understand.
You're a Protogen. You should understand.
Sorry.
You should understand numbers. When it comes to New Year's resolutions, I obviously want to become a mentor in Final Fantasy XIV. Speaking
Right.
of teaching,
Right?
So I like to basically learn as much as I can, and then share that knowledge with people who want to learn. That's why I want to strive to
Right.
become a mentor in an MMO, like a full-on mentor, like battle mentor and crafting mentor. I definitely want to start hitting the gym. Once I'm back
Yep.
at university on Tuesday, I get my student card because I lost it, so I can use it to get a discount on the gym membership. Like, instead of $50 a month, it's like $35 a month. And I have no binding, so no 12-year binding or anything. So I could just literally just cancel it when I'm like, oh, I'm so stressed right now or something like this because it's a school of a university for exams or something like that.
Right.
I can just quit for a month or so. Though I hope I won't ever do that.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
I'm just really fed up with how my body looks like. I'm fed up with how weak I am. Like, my brain is like so well trained, but my body is an absolute ruin, and I want to change that for good now.
Right. Makes sense.
Other resolutions. Be involved in with firmware projects instead of DevOps projects. Finally, at my job, for sure.
Right.
Finally.
Exactly.
And see where the firmware shenanigans will lead me to, because I learned that stuff at university as well. Obviously,
Right.
Make good grades as usual, as I usually do, but continue to keep that motivation to make good grades. Attending your Ferns, my first FurCon in September. I heard you're also coming.
We'll see. Essentially.
A lot of people are already coming, and
Yeah,
I will meet so
I'll
many
definitely
people
see what happens
from
in
my
September.
community.
So I won't
for
like
the
say
first time.
yes or no yet, because it's still a bit of ways too.
But
so.
it's on the table.
Yeah.
Then
It'd be awesome to go to Europe though.
What else?
We'll admit.
Oh yeah. What else? Like, I never wrote down any New Year's resolutions. That's just the things that I have planned for next year. What other things? Good question. I need to think about this a bit. Obviously, launch my D&D campaign, my homebrew campaign with Raishi. Like, our homebrew campaign,
Right.
Our homebrew campaign. I would really love to do that. Nothing really more in specific. I think more will come as it goes. But for now, these are the few plans that I have for now. It's more like not really a resolution. It's more like what goals do I have for this year? What do I want to work on?
Yeah.
And I'm a person who is the opposite of a man. Like, usually in German we say like a man a dictionary, saying like a man who says a lot of things but basically doesn't put it into action. I am a man in the dictionary, but I'm also a man of many actions.
Right.
So usually I pretty much meet all my New Year's resolutions.
That's awesome.
It's not common that I miss any New Year's resolutions. I work very deliberately.
Yeah. And I see now.
I work very deliberately towards my goals.
Yeah. You
Well,
mentioned
thanks.
you mentioned you liked Pokemon. What is your favorite Pokemon game? Mainline, spin-off, or both?
My favorite Pokemon game is a spin-off game. It's called Pokemon Mystery Dungeons Explorers of Sky, which is the second release of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Right.
Highly recommend that game. It's the best Pokemon game there is out there, hands down. Simply because the gameplay is innovative. The story makes me cry every single time. It's a very well-written story about friendship and loss of friendship and all that stuff. And a lot of comedy. And I just like the idea of like RPG roguelite, so to say. Like, would you consider Mr. Redemption a roguelite?
Right.
Like the Mr. Redemption thing? I don't know, but it feels like it. But that game always will hold a special place in my heart in terms of Pokemon.
Right.
Will always. It's a very unique game
I bet.
with a very distinct character that all the main Pokemon games are severely lacking.
You also mentioned your getting your masters. Do you plan to go further than that, or double down on masters, or a doctorate? I think that was it.
I don't know yet. I don't know. I am side-eyeing going for a doctorate in form of, like a remote doctorate to study it from home that I can do in my free time. Like, like in the evenings or in the weekends, working mostly full-time. So, like Raishi and me wanted to move in together and all that stuff and, double the money and all that shit.
That'd be
or at
awesome.
least try to. And I don't know yet if I want to or not, because I'm like, if I have a doctorate, what does it really allow me to? Yes, it allows me to, have the highest academic degree in it. But and go into research more deeply. But the thing is, to what purpose? I literally can go into research with a master's degree as well. So I'm like, I'm trying to still understand what the purpose of me getting a doctorate in software engineering would be.
Right.
As in terms for double masters, I honestly have never thought about that idea. I don't know yet. I don't know yet if I want to do a double masters. For now, I would say I'll be happy if I have my masters, but it goes without saying that mayhaps I will go for a doctorate or for a double masters should the opportunity arise. And enough reason, if I have enough reason to do it.
Yeah. Let's see about the next one. Wait, that is the next one. What are some of your homebrew campaign ideas? Can you be general or specific?
Unfortunately, I cannot talk much about it, simply because I don't want to add spoilers to this, obviously.
Spoilers in the
But
Q&A.
obviously, it's going to be in our own universe. I haven't thought of the specifics yet, like what kind of universe is it going to be? Is it going to be like its own plane? Is it going to have custom races or not? I have to discuss with Raishi about this, and it's going to happen very, very soon. Not in January, most likely, or maybe in January when I have my free time, because January and June is usually the period for us Europeans when all the exams happen.
All the exams happen?
So,
okay.
Yeah, all exams at once, back to back to back, every week.
Ours is
a
different,
few exams.
but yeah.
Yeah.
We love different systems.
But I definitely look forward to that, because it's going to be great, simply because I am a person who likes things to be very good and to be very deeper to the point where people cannot predict things. And as I said, it's gonna be a very distinct, unique experience. But I have nothing specific or generic or general yet, simply because I need to ask Raishi about what we're gonna do. Whether he has some ideas, once I have some ideas, and then just start and getting to work.
Yeah, exactly.
But what we're gonna do is that we're in our community. We're gonna open up an RSVP for people to apply, quote unquote, for a spot as a player, because we want to see how many people are actually interested in this. And second of all, And we want to handpick the people who are the most enthusiastic about it, not the most experienced ones. More so for people who are willing to learn and wanting and put in the effort to become
Yeah.
good role players, to become good D&D players, to make it feel like what we're doing is not just
A regular
put
D&D
in
kind of thing.
it's more so like we're putting in a lot of effort in it, and we want to have that effort in some
Yeah.
way or form reciprocated with some passion, and we want to see who are the most passionate people about this,
Yeah, that would be awesome.
regardless how experienced people are. If you're completely new to this, or if you're more so a person who has already like 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10 years under your belt here.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't see any questions lining up, so.
Oh, right, she just
Who's
mentioned
your
one.
favorite philosopher? Yeah, I just saw that.
I honestly don't have any favorite philosopher, but I do dive into philosophy myself quite often. I don't have anyone though.
Yeah.
I had Latin, and we had to translate a lot of philosophy texts from various
Right.
philosophers, but when you're like 16, 15, 17, you don't give a shit about that crap back then.
True.
At that point in time, you don't really care much about it.
Oh, come on. Of course, chat heard that, but you can ignore that. Whatever.
What?
Yeah, I'm just getting a streamer prepared, so whenever we read out. What is your favorite history subject? History
Definitely
time.
geopolitics. Definitely geopolitics.
Geopolitics.
Simply because I want to know. Because the thing is, you need to understand geopolitics to understand what's even happening around you. And as I mentioned before, and understanding, the history, the culture, the history, how things came to be, mistakes that happened in the past, and how they could be relevant to now, because the people who are here start to make that same behavior, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely something very, very interesting to observe the past and apply it into the present and the future.
Yeah.
As inspiration. So geopolitics is definitely a big thing for me.
That's nice.
And how those states and whatnot, the villages and cities influence each other in a positive and in a negative way.
Alright, I do have a right target down if that's the finishing questions.
How do we have any more questions? I'm open to any kind of questions. On
I
a scale from
demand
1 to 10,
more.
how cool do you think? Yeah, I demand more.
Or you're banned.
Did you know
for
that I
one.
actually have a little bit of Chinese ancestry in my family? Like
Yo.
300 years ago, we
That's
had
kinda
a
cool.
Chinese family, and that's why I am a Chinese Karen sometimes.
Ah,
You know?
fair enough.
You know why?
Why?
You know why?
Why?
Because I am the Mandarin for these questions.
Great. That's a good one. What do you think of fursuits? What type of questions is that? But anyway, it's a question.
Fursuits? Depends what kind of fursuits. There are the various ways of various things of fursuits, but generally, I am very open to the idea of having a fursuit. Just recently, I think like a week or 2 weeks ago, right? She asked me if we should actually get a couple's fursuit with his character and my character, and I'm like, once we have financially settled, and
Right.
we're stable enough for it, why not save up money to to commission someone for our fursuits, or learn the craft ourselves, because why not?
Yeah.
I am very enamored with fursuits, though I have never had the pleasure of being one in contact with, but that might change this year in September at Eurofurence for my first con.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to see and know. Sally, I think, will also come with his Protogen, so I look forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
He's been working on this for quite some time now. I'm very eager to see the end result.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I assume
Any
that's...
other questions?
Any last questions before we send it off? I guess that's the... Yeah.
Any final questions? Questions.
Question?
No.
Whoa.
Chat is thinking.
Let him cook.
Let it cook. Let it cook. For real. Well, the thing is, if people cannot think of any more questions, why not just join our community and get to know me and my husband and everyone else in it?
Yeah, join Mino's community. Yeah. Shout out to Mino, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually stream around right now. I will spend the time with Raishi today, but usually I stream pretty much almost every day at around this hour.
Oh, I guess.
In January, I will do a lot of the software development streams, simply because I need to do my software projects. And it's always nice to do these things, you know, like
Yeah.
a lot of people will learn, people ask questions, or even I learn things because there might be new people in here say like, oh, you're doing it this way. Here's how we do it in the industry, however. Stuff like this. This is how to do it more efficiently.
She did say a question, but I don't really know how to say that. A pioneer, I think it is.
Do you want to be a VPNer?
Oh, VPNer, yeah.
Right,
Why
this
not?
is actually an inside joke about Aroas. So whenever the start begins, especially in the lockdown VODs from Aroas, from that High Rollers D&D campaign that I'm watching.
No, this is not a date. This is a Q&A. That's what this is.
Dude, I am married. What the fuck,
Oh my
bro?
word. And that's your first
Oh my
time
word.
chat? Bruh. Get out of here.
Bruh.
Read the title, man. To ask questions. I think it...
Anyway, like, whenever the start happens with the High Rollers D&D episodes on the lockdown ones, they make these comedy sketches about their sponsors, about trying to sell the product.
Right.
And there was one from OpenVPN where it is actually like, who wants to be a millionaire, but it's converted into who wants to be an parenthesis OpenVPN-naire. And it was so bloody funny that Raishi and me died from laughter.
Right.
It's an inside joke. You're Raishi with this. Who wants to be a VPN-naire? Ask him the question.
Anyway, assuming that's
Is this
pretty
a
much
date?
the end.
Man, I wish I was on a date with Raishi right now.
Anyway, I think that's pretty much it from the chat. So
I hope
we'll
that
be-
sheds a bit more light to my person rather
Yes.
than being called intimidating. I've been told by like 4 people by now. I've been told by 4 or 5 people by now that my presence is intimidating due to my strong personality, that I radiate a strong aura.
Yeah.
And that they're intimidated because
Ooh.
they have to feel that I hold a lot of influence with people.
Right.
And I'm like, I am one of the most easygoing people you will ever meet.
That's
I
true.
don't care if you're awkward or anxious or anything.
Yeah.
I say dumb shit all the time. What's stupid about it?
Exactly.
I don't care. Let's just have a good time together. You know.
Anyway,
I hope
we're
that sheds
now
a bit of a
heading
better
out.
light.
Thank you all for
No.
watching. Thank you all for coming. Yes, seeing
Thank
the
you all
Q&A.
for the questions.
Yeah, yes, many questions.
Thank you everybody for
And
watching.
thank you all for staying, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye. Whoa.
And